On this installment of How We Roll, the crew heads down to Auburndale, Florida, and checks out Baugh's 4x4 and more, where these guys prove day in and day out that size really does matter.
Hey, I'm Dale Baugh from Baugh's 4x4 and more. Come check out my shop. This is my lathe. Got a belt sander, got a milling machine. It's nice, real nice when you need it. Old ancient drill press, air compressor, everybody needs one of those. Everybody needs one of these. In Florida, you gotta have one. This is my dad's torch. He gave it to me about 15 years ago. He built it, I guess I was probably 5, 6 years old. I'm thinking about putting some 14-inch spinners on here. Anybody that does any kind of fabrication has to have one of these. It's the best welder I've ever had. It's a Nomadic 251. I do all the welding in the shop. I use 035 wire and 80-75-25 gas. This is our tubing bender. We use it for shock hoops, different applications, different 4-leak trucks. Pretty handy to have. Everybody's got to have one of these in Florida. Hurricane season, you got to have it. I ran the shop off of it. Had to keep working. I was without power for like 10 days. Hell with a house. I didn't need a house. These here are four-wheelers. When we're not out four-wheeling, we're four-wheeling. I use this mainly to pull stuff around the shop, pull stuff in and out, disabled vehicles, whatnot. It's a Cadillac here. You got plenty of storage for cold beverages, beers, Pepsi. These here are short side stub axle assemblies, some U-joints, some the ball and fork. We're prone to break quite a few of them, so I keep quite a few in stock. Plenty of steering knuckles, hubs, spindles up here, a lot of stub axles we have here. Down below we have plenty of rear axles. We're constantly breaking those. All kind of parts to rebuild 2.5 ton. On my 4-link bars I use 2-inch DOM, 1/8" ID, and this has been bored for a tap to be 1¼ thread. As you see here, it's been notched, so you can put a wrench on it for tightening the jambs. All the brackets here you see that's been welded in place, I make a template, and Steve Gerstner over at Differential Engineering, he has a burn table, and we burn all the brackets out over at his shop. This here is my axle pile. This is the virgin sets. From here they go to the sandblasters, and from that next step they get cut and narrowed. Now let's go take a look at the narrowing jig. That's the narrowing jig. I took the differential and I cut it in half. Makes it real simple. Drop it inside. From here we slide the 2-inch shaft through. That's where it starts. Alright, here we have my toolbox. It's where I keep all my tools. It's quite large. Pretty good sized box. Keeps all the tools I need to use on all this stuff. Here's my Rolodex. A dial indicator for setting up backlash on rear ends. This is an old, I had to move out of this one. This was too small. Now this is my son's. When he was younger, he just gets out here, and the other kids that come up in the shop, they keeps them occupied out there in the mud. Here we have a 90 model Chevrolet. This is the first step. We've cut everything out from underneath it. It's going to be a leaf spring application. It's getting deuce and a half. It's going to be off-road only. It's going to run like a 46-inch tall V-tread. It's going to hammer on it pretty hard, so we got to build it pretty tough. Right now it's equipped with a small block 350. He plans on putting a 502 crate motor in it. The transmission, it will be a Turbo 400. We'll go put a Profab aluminum transfer case in it. It also have hydraulic steering. We're going to take the fuel tank out, put a fuel cell on the bed, strip it down as light as we can. We'll go gut the interior, take the dash, everything out, just bare necessities. Probably going to put a roll cage in it with some racing seats and racing harnesses. Now that we look at the work in progress, let's go see some of the finished products. Come on. This here's my personal vehicle. It's got 2.5 ton Rockwells underneath it, narrowed front, welded rear, locker front. I normally have 48s on it. I did the 44s last night for a tug of war. Hell, I'd drive it to the grocery store if I had a tag on it. I love this thing. We do everything with it. Car crushing, tug of war, tri-truck challenge, water crossing. This here's my lockout block. Put it in place to add direct pressure to the tires during tug of war. I had to beef up the traction bars. I did just have just a primary bar in here, but the abuse that I put it through, I ended up bending 4 or 5 sets. This here's a 91 Wrangler. Paul came to me and said he's going to put dew snap underneath the Wrangler. I said, you're freaking crazy. It's got a 454 in it, turbo 400 tranny, 205 bolt up, and it's slap insane to watch him drive it. It's crazy. Due to the nature of his driving, I made him put the seat belts, the racing seats and the harnesses in it. If it had skating wheels on the top, he'd have it on its roof. This here's a buddy of mine's truck, Ricky Moss. I built this. It's the second 4-link truck I built. Turned out pretty good. I've got the 2.5 ton narrowed front, welded rear Detroit lockers, got the hydro steer. I dropped the subframe down a lot lower. We used a profab aluminum case. It's got 3.75 to 1 gear ratio in it. It also is equipped with a power stroke diesel, the automatic tranny. We used the race runner shocks again. These are 500 over 500 coils. In the rear, it's a 250 over 400. It's after 5 at Baugh's 4x4 and more. This is how we roll.
Temp. 260.
You've seen the shop, you've seen the trucks, you've seen the carnage. Y'all got to get the hell out.